Coming up on Cardinals Insider, the last inning focuses on Yadi Molina. Also,
swing and a miss and a strikeout. First is a Cardinal for Quintana.
A pair of hurlers bring new life to the Cardinals rotation. Then later,
finally somebody gets a hold of me and they said, hey, you've been traded to the Cardinals. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness.
We look back on Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend. Those stories and more ahead on Cardinals Insider. Welcome to Cardinals Insider. I'm Ozzie Smith. We begin today's show with another installment of our Last Inning series. Today's episode examines the career of Yadi Molina.
In the air, left field, and Pujols is giving St. Louis the lead. This ball is gone. Two-run home run, Yadi Molina.
The Cardinals are world champions for 2007.
And the Cardinals have won the pennant. He's down the alley. Big Macklin.
Will 2022 be your final season in the majors?
Yes, it would be my final season.
It's hard to imagine Cardinal baseball without you. Over 2,000 games, more than 2,000 hits, and most people have no idea the price you pay. They only see the glory. I think you're the best ever, and playing at that level doesn't come cheap.
Can't get there in time and hits the padding hard.
Drill after drill, foul ball after foul ball.
Swing and a foul, and that one hurt Yadi.
You pay the price to be great. You lead by example. You play through the pain. And you're always thinking one step ahead.
Did he get him? He did! Oh, what a play by Yadi Molina!
To have 2,000 of anything takes a long, long time.
Yadi, what a throw! He got him!
And they don't just give these jobs out. 19 seasons, and you've earned every bit of it.
At the wall, this ball is gone! And St. Louis takes it off Freeman, and this game is gone! Cardinals are world champs!
Thanks for playing catch all these years.
The Cardinals acquired starters Jordan Montgomery and José Quintana at the deadline. They're providing quality innings and have helped the Cardinals surge into first place during the second half. Here's what it's been like for the two new hurdlers.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout. First is a Cardinal for Quintana. A swing and a miss and a strikeout. His first as a St. Louis Cardinal. The first strikeout for Jordan Montgomery.
My experience has been great. Team kind of welcomed me in, made it easy for me to transition over here, and staff have been great, kind of accommodating me and helping me get in my routine.
I've been a really good time so far. I've been enjoying all the time with my teammates. I've been enjoying around Busch Stadium, the big crowd every night or day games. So I think there's a great support, and it's really fun to play baseball like that.
And the pitch, swing and a miss. They struck him out. Terrific work again for Jordan Montgomery. Pitch by Quintana, a swing and a miss. 7 strikeouts in his Cardinal debut for José Quintana.
Everybody knows it's a big organization, you know, a lot of history in here, you know, one of the best fans on baseball, you know, all he supports every game, so it's amazing to see the stadium sold out almost every night.
I think we've packed out every home game. They've been positive from the get-go and been great to me. I've got like 2 standing ovations already.
And he's got to love this ovation as the Cardinal fans behind the dugout are standing.
This year is really special because I get the opportunity to play with Molina, and his last year AP last year. So guys like Waino with a lot of experience.
Yadi and Waino, I've definitely was excited to get to work with them. Trying to be a sponge around Waino and It's just cool playing for another great organization, team that's always going to be trying to win, and I'm surrounded by such great people. It makes it a little more fun every day.
Ground ball right side. Albert, Montgomery, ball game. Cardinals win it, and a 1-0 complete game shutout for Montgomery.
Later in the show,
the circular sections are mirrors. They glow like stars.
From catching baseballs to catching the moment, see how Ted Simmons is hitting home runs in the art world. And straight ahead,
Spending time with them, these were the men that I wanted to spend the majority of my career with, the rest of my career with.
there are 3 new members of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Soak in the sights and sounds of Induction Weekend. Saturday, August 27th was Hall of Fame Day here in St. Louis. Matt Holliday, Julian Javier, and Charles Kaminsky are now members of the Red Jacket Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ballpark Village for the 2022 St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The Cardinals organization retains the right to annually induct an individual who has been an important figure in Cardinals history and whose contributions to the franchise warrant induction. This year's selection is Charles Kaminsky. Accepting the plaque is his great-grandson, Charles Kaminsky III. Ladies and gentlemen, Cardinals Hall of Famer Julian Javier.
I want to give my thanks to the president of the club, Mr. DeWitt, because he was the first guy who called me to let me know. I go, excuse me. So, I want to congratulate all the big guys right behind me. They're great. Thank you very much for having me here. And see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium your newest Cardinals Hall of Famer, Matt Holliday.
What's funny is that Adam and Albert and Yadi and I were going to go in together someday. When I came over, we talked about that a lot, and they're still playing. So I didn't get the memo that we were still doing it. So I stopped playing. They're still playing. So I'll come back and watch you guys be nervous about this someday. April 16th, 2004, I was making my major league debut with the Colorado Rockies here in St. Louis, and it was Mark McGwire weekend. It was an incredible experience. I think my love for St. Louis and Cardinal baseball began that weekend. Fast forward to July 24th, 2009. We're in New York. I'm playing for the Oakland A's. It's not going great. Finally somebody gets a hold of me and they said, hey, you've been traded to the Cardinals. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. After my 2 months here, our playoff experience, getting to know my teammates, spending time with them, these were the men that I wanted to spend the majority of my career with, the rest of my career with. I remember Adam and I had a conversation. I remember him saying to me, hey, you know, if you don't sign back here, I'm gonna peg you every time I face you the rest of your career. And I thought, well, you don't throw that hard, so I'm not worried about it. Just really grateful for my time here, and this honor is truly a blessing. Thank you.
Now please welcome, entering the field, our 2022 St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class, Charles Kaminsky III. Julian Javier and Matt Holliday. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. Louis Cardinals 2022 Hall of Fame class.
After the break,
What they're really looking at is a little piece of both Marianne and I.
Ted Simmons takes us on a tour of an art exhibit that he helped assemble. Stay with us. Hall of Fame catcher Ted Simmons has interests far beyond baseball. He and his wife are art collectors, and part of their collection is on display at the St. Louis Art Museum in an exhibit titled Catching the Moment.
When you see the show, you'll see that we have an attention span of perhaps a 2-year-old because it's kind of everywhere. One of the things we like to think about ourselves is that we're curious.
What gets our attention or my attention? Rarity, beauty, and the third thing centers itself around truth. When I find any combination of those three things in one place, my attention is focused immediately.
Linked to the title of this show, Catching the Moment, there are moments in your life, the moments you see a piece of art that captures you, those moments put on a wall.
Everybody in this collection of ours has something to say. One form or another really is trying to convey something specific.
This is the artist, Jane Hammond, and
her image.
Yes, and what appears to be hieroglyphics. If you look at the bottom, there are prints of her footprints down there. There's an elegance about it, but there's also a playfulness about it. I came to St. Louis a little over 50 years ago, right out of art school. So Ted would go to the ball field, and I would stop at the art museum. And I was looking for contemporary works on paper. And there weren't many, if any, but our collection kind of fills in a place at the other end of the 20th century. Here we are.
I've turned two many times in my life, and earlier this month, I hit the field with a group of Cardinal fans to teach them infield technique. You know, I hear people sometimes, because of the way I play, they say, well, you know, he couldn't really teach. Well, I'm not trying to teach people to play it like I played it, you know, because what I did was very instinctual. But I try and teach fundamentals, you know, getting yourself in a good fielding position so that you enable yourself to be able to make a play. You got to get to the bag when he throws it to him. Get to the bag. There you go. You got to learn to turn the double play from a circle. Turning the double play, you know, learning to get there and giving good targets for your second baseman. In my case, as a shortstop, making sure that I give him a good target to throw to and learning about your battery mate. When you have guys that are bearing down on you, you don't want to go toward him. You only go that way when you have plenty of time. I don't think people really realize that your glove is an extension of your hand, and if you're not comfortable with your glove, then it's going to be hard to be a good fielder. So it was just about tightening the gloves up for him. His strings were all loose and stuff, and it's just giving him a better feel. Put your hand in there now and see how it feels. People always ask me, they say, well, when you watch a game, what are you looking for? Well, those are the little things that we talk about that sometimes go unnoticed, that aren't kept statistically. And it's the thing that I think clubs that win on a consistent basis, it's the things that they do every day. Join me for our September 26th session. Register at cardinals.com/Ozzy, and I hope to see you there. In the meantime, there's more Cardinals Insider after the break. Charles Kaminsky is best known for founding the American League and the Chicago White Sox, but he also played a role in early Cardinals history. Our Brett McMillan has more on the 2022 Cards Hall of Famer.
During the first half of the 20th century, baseball began evolving into the game and business we see today. Charles Kaminsky was a key player in that development. He's most famous for founding the American League and his hometown Chicago White Sox. But his major league career started in 1882 with the franchise which would eventually become the Cardinals. Back then, they were the St. Louis Browns, and they played in the American Association, which was a major league. Kaminsky first joined up as a player. The next season, owner Chris Vonderai found himself at odds with the current manager, Ted Sullivan. Kaminsky was promoted to skipper and guided St. Louis to 4 straight American Association pennants. In 1886, he captured the World's Championship, the forerunner to the World Series. That came against the National League's Chicago White Stockings, who now are known as the Chicago Cubs. So ironically, a Chicagoan was a central figure in St. Louis's first baseball glory, guiding the future Cardinals to victory against the future Cubs. Kaminsky's legacy and role in baseball grew exponentially as an executive in his later years, but his role as a young man helped spark St. Louis's championship culture, and that contribution is now memorialized forever in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. For Cardinals Insider, I'm Brett McMillan.
When we return, I'm answering one of your questions. It's Ask Ozzy, and it's up next. It's time for this week's Ask Ozzy. Jim in Dunlap, Tennessee asks, who would be in your starting lineup if you could choose players from any time in history? Man, this is a challenge because there are so many great players. Starting with Bob Gibson, to Johnny Bench, to Tony Gwynn, to Dave Winfield, to George Hendrick. The list goes on and on, so it's almost impossible to pick 9 players, but that's just right off the top of my head. I would try and have a mix of speed and power, much like Whitey Herzog was able to do with the 80s Cardinals, getting that good mix, and I think that that's what made it so much easier for us to play. He orchestrated a great mix of young, speed, defense, and good pitching. Thanks for the question, Jim. If you want to submit a question, head on over to cardinals.com/insider and click the Ask Ozzy tab. But for now, stay with us. There's more Cardinals Insider after the break. Throughout their careers, both Yadi Molina and Adam Wainwright have battled injury, but they've overcome those setbacks to craft long careers. Their resilience has them on the brink of Major League Baseball history. Let's learn more on this week's Chase for 325, presented by Cardinals Magazine.
Know when they tell you something, they know what they're feeling. They both have gone through so much pain in their career that they're not just looking for a day off. When they feel something and they're going through an injury, they'll tell you, "This is what I'm feeling, and it doesn't feel like it did in 2018, or it doesn't feel like, it kind of feels like that thing that I had in 2015," and it gives you almost an instant roadmap.
When I catch, and Yadi probably thinks the same way, you're going to get hit 6 times a day. 6 times that the fans have no idea you got hit in the toes, in your knee, a foul tip here, blocking a ball, which people think it's just, no, you have gear. That thing hurts every time it hits your chest. It doesn't matter if it's chest protector or a chin guard. So I think the fingers, the area on the thumbs when he slide and kind of strain that ligament was tough for him. When you get hit in the cup, it's another level, and he had to go through that. And the way he went through it, I don't think anybody could have gone through it the way he did. It's so positive and so strong. It's such a strength. I don't know if I can see anybody else dealing the way he dealt with that. He actually walked out, and we all know what he had. So he walked off the field.
All the punishment, all the sleepless nights, the pain, not only during the game, but after and before, it's crazy what they go through. And yes, they have protection, but that protection, as described before by Rick Monday, the tools of ignorance, they don't always protect you 100%.
When you've worked with Yadi for long enough, there's like this rhythm of, okay, watch for a second, because Yadi's the kind of guy that's like, don't just come out here. He doesn't need time, he doesn't need, help or anything, and that's just his nature and that's his toughness. I don't know that I've ever seen he was fighting so hard to get over the pain, because that's one of the things that Yadi, pain's not going to stop him. His body might fail him and he just can't do something, but pain's not the thing that's going to stop him.
In 2018, there was a start in the middle of May at San Diego when Waino, you could just see he was in pain with every pitch. I remember one of the San Diego writers in the press box getting up and just like, oh, this is sad. By then, Waino had a great career. Everybody knew Waino. After that game, Waino, he didn't say he was done, but there was a lot of thought that might have been his last start.
He was throwing like 78 miles an hour, and I'm watching this, and as much as we want to win on the other side, it's like killing me to see this go down. I called my wife right after the game, and I thought he was done. I mean, I was like, this is the last start we'll ever see Adam pitch.
I wouldn't say that anyone had any high hopes. There's certain things that were going on with his elbow at that time that, like I said, other people don't come back from. He was playing catch with another one of our pitchers and started just, trying to find, essentially, I always talk about it like the tread on a tire, trying to find a new tread somewhere in that arm slot. Somehow it kind of started to come together.
And then there was a start against the Dodgers that month on Sunday Night Baseball where he went 6 scoreless innings, and Waino says if he had not had that game, he might not have pitched in 2019. That game was that important to him.
That's all for this episode. Join us again next week. And as always, you can watch new episodes on YouTube or Cardinals.com/insider. And for everyone involved with the show, I'm Ozzie Smith, and we'll see you next time.